I'm so glad you were not here. You would not have been proud of my language. So I got a running start down that slope and came up and tried to get, I don't know, I got up to about there. You can see my spinny spots. You know, if you had a winch on a tree, it'd be fine. So it's pretty. Problem is, you gotta go. It is steep. Now, having said that, nobody whatsoever tried to dig down and create a drive that could get rid of a little of the pitch. Well, here he is. I don't know if this survey stake here. Where's the little squirrel? It's pretty and it's wooded. I don't know that they. I don't know if that's a stake for some soil work that was done, because otherwise it doesn't make sense to me as to where the lot is. You know, I can see a house right through there that I'm pretty close to. You've got a lot of road frontage. You got like about 1,000 foot of, oh, and it's a private road too. I didn't bring my firearm. Hope they don't have mean doggies. All the spring flowers are out. Yeah, there's a spot up here you could have a place. It's got a little slope to it, but it's fairly level. And there's enough bushes and stuff. You probably couldn't see that house when everything comes out. You can definitely see it right now. So if I am still on the land and I see a couple what are typically going to be a marker for, there's a tree wrapped around with a pink flag. There's a couple of those out here. But I know you're going to be saying, if you see this video, well, where is he now? Where? You know, I don't know. There's a beautiful creek down there though. If the land goes all the way back to that creek, that's going to be a creek that's there all the time. I can't imagine it's not, that it ever dries out. So I see some of those there. I just can't tell for sure. I don't know what these white posts. No hunting or trespassing. What are these white pipes for? See that series of white pipes along there? I'm not sure what these are for. It's odd. They're sitting in some sleeve. I don't know. But actually, it gets a little gradual here to walk down to the creek. That's actually doable. It'd tire you on the walk up. But, and this is a general initial assessment. Ooh, I'm sorry, I'm a sucker for spring flowers. Look at those babies. God makes pretty stuff. You do have a spot where you could put a house, in my not so humble assessment. It's private, very little to take care of here. You could just leave it as fallow as you wanted to. The good news is so steep, it's not going to get developed or anything. This will be private forever, just about. There's somebody across the ravine there, which is, you know, right by the road. This sucker peels off real steep. That's where that devil's backbone is on the private drive. It's shared care of the private drive for all the lots in here. I don't know how many lots are in here. I'm gonna just throw out, you know, there's 10 of them, let's say, when it's time. And they did put some money into some new spots where they put asphalt in again. But it's a private drive off of North Lick. Oh, that's pretty. That's not a dandelion. Actually, the worst part of this property to me is getting up on it. I would actually have I got a couple different guys I know that do excavating, you know, heavy equipment stuff that make driveways. I would get them out here to see what they thought it might cost to rework the topography of that driveway. Because somebody just took a basic straight shot up as best they could, and it's incredibly impractical to get up here. Very impractical. I can see the other house through there too. See it on the video. You got that house, and then you got this one that's closer. And again, there's the drive I walked up. This spot, kind of right about where I'm standing, and a little bit right there in the grove of big trees, that's probably about where I clear off, because it's about the steepest or the flattest section you got. It's kind of cool back here. I dig it. But you got, I don't know. There's no way I am not at least asphalting, but I'm not, this drive's not. The entrance part, like where I'm standing right now, I'm fine. You know, it's got a little pitch on it, whatever. But once you take this dog leg here and head down, that is, I'm not even thinking of using that. There's a part of me that wonders, because it's free just to dream, if I cut it more back, took these trees out here where that sign is, and took a more gentler arc and dug into the wall, and then almost have a retaining wall here on the side, and you could just throw in some rubble for that. I forget what they call that, riprap. They're more like about 10-inch little boulders of stuff, and just kind of lay that up so that it won't erode out. That's gonna help, because you got to bring this down and longer to run it this way. This has got to come down, and so you're gonna have to dig out and then more gradually get up to the pad up there. I don't know, you know, not including if you ever asphalt or, you know, concrete the thing. You know, I'm imagining that you're, you know, probably, gosh, at least 10K, maybe 20, 25. This is the kind of thing where I tell you, this is why if something looks like it's 125, there's some money you got to put into a lot that's 125 usually to make it worth your while. But I do like the perks good if she ain't lying. And I'll drive out of here just so you can see where we are. Lord in heaven. I mean, my tires were smoking. I almost went down this ravine the first time. Dude, and the cell service isn't the best out here. I had a long walk home. It's got a little upward jump here. So there's a driveway to the one, it's a real nice house back there. Looks like a log cabin-y cute with some river stone actually, instead of a lot of limestone you see. But there's this little culvert that catches this, which is kind of just like a detention pond that has runoff for here that goes to the creek. There used to be a creek, but they had to put this in here to be able to you know, make people pass to the other lots. You know, it's just basically a forest of stuff. You know, this was clear to get some poles through here. Little. It's nice. And you'll see on the map, see right there, this private drive takes this almost 180, you know, kickback. So somebody's got something up there. And that's where I just came from, the little drive right there. And there's the drive to that one open lot right there. There's something way across outside of the subdivision. Sort of steep down in there. And you'd have all kinds, I love birds, you'd have all kinds of birds out here. I'm so curious what those posts are for out there, those white PVC things. You have to have well, there's no city water out here, so you have to take a well. So you got some cost there. There's no gas. Now there's this lot, which looks, at least on the street, is a little, I'll see if I can pull that up, what that one is. Oh, see those, you guys probably know those are May apples. Up where I'm from in northern Indiana, that was a prime spot. You could find morel mushrooms for some reason, like propagating there. It's roly-poly back here. Some of it's just sloped and gradual, some of it's incredibly steep. It gets flat on a few spots. Again, there's some survey flags for something. Now we're coming up to North Lick up here. Some of that creek follows along some of the winds in the road, which makes sense. Here's a little more humble little thingy up there. There's a driveway over here that goes to something I can't see. It's a pretty drive on here. I think there was only, like, that's a, you know, it's not, I've seen worse, not like it's a trailer, but so they got a series of mailboxes for the development there. And there's another thing on the other side of the road here where there's like 3 mailboxes that go to a gate to get in. There's a creek right there after we left. And that's a cool little short waterfall. Driving along North Lake Creek Road. Here's a little humble house here. And a humble shed. Nothing really over here. Here's some horses. There's an old Dodge you might pick up for cheap. Okay, now we're coming up to, I think this is Garrison. I gotta remember which way I came. But there's the horsies that way and this way.